The Patek Philippe Nautilus and Audemars Piguet Royal Oak are two of the most beloved integrated bracelet blue dial sports watches on the market today. I wanted to discuss with Arena the top 5 alternatives for these watches, so let's get right into it. So Arena, of course, Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, Patek Philippe Nautilus, the kind of quintessential integrated bracelet blue dial sports watch on the market that is probably desired designs on the market today. Before we get into kind of the alternatives, what do you think makes those watches so special and so desired by collectors?
You know, Marco, those watches were designed for casual occasion at those times. And I think we're going back right now to dress more casual, more sporty, and I think it's the stainless steel case, the bracelets, their shape that set them different with this classic Genta design. I really think that's the difference.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they were very revolutionary for the time, right? You go back to the
Absolutely.
1970s. I mean, what was the kind of classic watch that people were buying, right? Most of the time we're talking about sizes 34 to 36 millimeters. Now you're scaling up to 39, even 40 millimeters with the Nautilus. It was really a groundbreaking design that I feel is still very, very classic today, right? You look at the evolution of both of these designs. I mean, they haven't really changed just because how perfect they really are, right? I guess what underpins them mostly also is the brand, right? Obviously AP and Patek Philippe being two of the most notorious and I think sought after watch brands in the world by collectors. And of course, quality wise, we're talking the highest level, in the industry. The AP Royal Oak bracelet, I still think is probably the nicest bracelet you'll find on any watch in the market.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
The piece that you're buying, Patek Philippe in stainless steel with that beautiful movement inside. I mean, it's just the cherry on top of the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess to start off, kind of what are the best alternatives, right? We got to start at kind of a more affordable price point. For me, the best one is a Tissot PRX. Sub $1,000, I don't think a watch beats it, especially in automatic. You get the Powermatic 80-hour power reserve. You can get in 41 millimeters, 35 millimeters in such a variety of dial colors. Like kind of the Royal Oak, it's a really good blank canvas, right? I don't think you can go wrong with any variation you choose, and the price point is really, really nice and not too crazy for kind of the average watch collector.
I love that timepiece. That's such a good entry timepiece, especially if you're younger, if you're looking just to start your collection, if you want something like more of a sportier watch in stainless steel, great choice, Marco.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, if we're going up to the luxury segment, what would you say kind of would be your first pick as an alternative for the Royal Oak?
Is an alternative to Royal Oak, I would probably have to go to an engineer. And it's not really an alternative. It is a Genta design. Right. So I would definitely will say, like, if you are looking at this caliber, I would definitely go for IWC.
Yeah.
Marco, it's a classic one. It designed the same year as designed Patek Nautilus. I mean, the case, the dial, the variety, the movement, beautiful.
Yeah, everything about that watch, I think, they really hit a home run. And I'll be honest, when I first saw the design, I was kind of not so happy about the fact that they didn't kind of stay faithful with the Ingenieur 1832 with the kind of, what's it called, on the actual crown, the crown guards on the crown. I didn't love it. And then when you see it in person, it makes a lot more sense, right? It helps with the shock resistance of the watch. Also the fact, I think it's an 80-hour power reserve, 120 hour power reserve. It's true, it's 5 days. And then also you get, of course, the 41 millimeter size, which again, I wasn't sure about, but it wears really, really nicely on wrist. And I love the variety, right? Even the new releases, the perpetual calendar, the ceramic version that they did. It's such a great, again, blank canvas, kind of similar to the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, where you can kind of go wherever you want with it.
I agree, Marco, and especially for the price point that Ingenieur is priced, and you're getting Genta design, you're getting variety of dial colors, you're getting this beautiful movement. I agree with you on the crown guard protector. I was very skeptical about that, and also the screws that just got started.
On the bezel.
Yes, but I love it. That's a great piece, and I'm obsessed with the 35 millimeter. I can't wait to purchase for myself. You and I agree that's a great piece.
Yeah, I actually just added one to my personal collection. Yeah. So, I mean, I like it so much that I bought it for myself. I think Ingenieur, to me, in terms of like Genta designs, is one of the best. And obviously the fact that it's at such an accessible price point, right? Because integrated bracelet sports, well, obviously Genta has a ton of designs. You could get kind of Omega Globemaster, the Constellation line was designed by Genta, and there's a bunch of others. But like, for me, I think when we're talking about integrated bracelet, that's the most affordable and best made by far and away. I don't think anything really comes close. And listen, there's other alternatives, GP Laureato, and you can even go way more affordable at Tudor Royal or Bulgari Octa Finissimo. I just don't think the design is as nice, me personally.
When you get into that price and fluctuation is very small, I would definitely be strong advocate for the engineer.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I know you love it as well. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best. Now, this next pick I think is going to be a bit controversial. This is personally just my opinion, and I did pick a Rolex. Now, this list that I created kind of was before the release of the Rolex Land Dweller. Obviously, we pre-plan these videos to a certain extent. Now, I got to see the Land Dweller at Watches and Wonders. I think it's a phenomenal watch. I don't love the dial, but I think it's going to be a great watch in the future when they kind of update the dial and the design of the dial itself. But for me, one watch before the release of the Land Dweller that kind of resembled the integrated bracelet or very unique style bracelet sports watch, right, was actually a smooth bezel Datejust with a blue dial and a Jubilee bracelet. Because when you think about Jubilee bracelet, right, you see it from a mile away, you know instantly it's a Rolex, right?
100%.
Same with the Royal Oak bracelet, same with the Patek Philippe Nautilus bracelet. I mean, if you're a watch collector, you know what it is, right? There's no question about it. So you see the Jubilee bracelet with a smooth bezel, it makes it, less kind of it's more wear resistant than the fluted bezel.
Versus fluid.
And the blue dial, of course, gives that kind of blue dial look. And the Jubilee bracelet almost looks like it's integrated into the case. It's just my personal opinion, but I think it's a great alternative. And you're looking at, if you're looking secondary market pricing around $11,000 to $12,000 for that watch, I think it's a great watch. It competes very, very well against the Ingenieur.
You just sourced that watch for me, and you actually sourced for one of my clients with smooth bezel, and I thought it's a beautiful, beautiful watch. It's really sophisticated. The blue is gorgeous. And again, secondary market for that timepiece, great.
Yeah, I mean, you think about a watch, right, that you can wear to any occasion. Obviously, a lot of people will choose a Submariner or will choose, a Datejust with a fluted bezel. But I think a smooth bezel Datejust actually lends itself to be really unique, especially with the Jubilee bracelet, because it's not a configuration most people will go for. They typically go smooth oyster bracelet, which I like, but I have a GMT Master 2 on a Jubilee. Yeah. I think it's the best bracelet.
So comfortable.
Oh, it's
and it's a little bit more understated without the fluted bezel. I love it. Marco, great choice.
Okay. And then pick number 2 for you. What would you like?
I would say number 2 for me will be Vacheron Constantin Overseas.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Blue dial, classic, 41 millimeter. You can go wrong with them. I know it's not a Genta design, but this timepiece is no-brainer in everybody's tongue. Everybody looking at this watch, everybody talking about this watch. The best feature of this timepiece is how easy to change the bracelet to the strap. And I actually love that watch on the strap. I mean, mind-blowing how easy, how comfortable, how beautiful it's on the wrist at 41. Gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've sold at this point probably over 10 to 15 overseas, and every single time I experience kind of somebody else wearing the overseas, they always say, you know what, I never wear it on the bracelet.
They're always wear it on the strap.
Always
right?
on a rubber strap.
Always like people
it's so weird, but they always wear it on a rubber strap. I
agree.
can't explain it. It's kind of strange, but they always tend. And that strap change system is something that the Nautilus and the Royal Oak just don't have at all.
No, none of the IWC engineer as well. I think people will try to replicate that, but I just think they're owning the space for that.
Yeah.
And that watch specifically available with many color dials. What's your favorite, I guess?
I think the blue. The blue, the blue is the one to get. I like the new rose gold with the green dial. They haven't made the steel with the green dial. They made also for a very limited time the steel with the brown dial. The only gripe that I have, they made for a very, very limited quantity or a very limited production span, a 39 millimeter overseas. So it was an ultra thin overseas, no date with kind of a slate gray dial. That to me was the perfect case size, perfect design.
I don't think I ever saw that.
It's awesome. It's incredible. It's one of the nicest, and it's got a really ultra thin JLC movement. Absolutely beautiful watch. They discontinued it. For me, the only issue I have with the overseas, I can't wear it.
It's too big.
I'd own the watch. I would not have gotten an Ingenieur. I would get an overseas because I love the overseas, but I can't personally wear it. The lug to lug is too big. And then the 34.5 millimeter
It's way too small.
is a bit too small for my personal preference. You know what I mean? So the 39 was that ultimate sweet spot. And they made a 37 with the small seconds at 9 o'clock. Wasn't my favorite design. I think it's a little more feminine. It was marketed as a ladies' watch as well. But the overseas, I think, is a great pick. I mean, how can you not love that watch?
And what I like about you can actually get this piece right now in the secondary market.
For around retail or under retail.
Too, at around the retail, and that's a no-brainer as well. Great piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, you picked an overseas versus the 222 in steel, right? 222 being a 2025 novelty. Would you still pick that over the 222, or would you go more?
They're so different.
They are.
They are completely different.
You can't compare them.
You cannot compare them. If you would add maybe one towards our mixture, I would always say 222, maybe in steel, but they're very different. I would say overseas still holding the place in that category that you have to include this timepiece.
It's more of a sports watch.
Yes.
You know, what I want to make clear to the viewers is the 222 is a dress watch. I mean, it's a sports chic dress watch. You know, that's kind of what it is. It's meant to be like worn in a more kind of business casual or kind of formal occasion. The overseas is very much a sports watch, 150 meters, water resistant, and screw down crown, like all that kind of good stuff that the 222 doesn't have. And also, I think the overseas has a much more interesting dial, way more interesting. The 222 is nice and steel. The bracelet is awesome. The size is a lot better than the overseas. But watch for watch, you put them side by side, I go the overseas 100%. Every single time. Maybe it's the wrong answer, but that's just my opinion. 222
in gold is spectacular piece, the finishing, everything.
Oh my God, beautiful.
So I don't know if you want to compare them to that, but 222 gold is absolutely stunning, but this piece is still holding a place.
Yeah.
And if I would compare them to classic Genta design, so that...
And you know what? It's funny you say that, but I'd still take the overseas rose
really?
gold.
Okay.
I love the contrast of the rose gold. Okay, so for my last pick, I mean, this is a tough one, right? But I think, and we kind of talked about this before the video started. So a friend of mine actually said this, and I actually really like his name is Ben's Watches on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. You guys can look him up. He said that Parmigiani Fleurier is like the Loro Piana of watches. It's like the people in the know. And one of the best alternatives to the Royal Oak is the Tonda, right? Especially the new Tonda PS without the date. I think it's beautiful. It's like this super slim, I think under 8 millimeters in thickness. Beautiful integrated bracelet, micro order movement, the nice guilloche dials. The price point is a little high. I think the retail is like $28,500 US, but it's Parmigiani Fleurier. I mean, you're going to pay under $20,000 for that watch. Let's just be honest. And then, the watch itself is just spectacular. I don't know if I like the Loro Piana comparison. I think it's a great watch. I don't know if it's Loro Piana, but it's a spectacular watch. And I think probably another amazing alternative to the Royal Oak Nautilus.
Marco, that's one of my favorite watches.
Yeah.
And I think the viewers going to really hate me right now, but I actually will pick that watch over overseas, and I know this is really bad.
Okay.
But it is my like Loro Piana look. That watch is incredible. The dial on that watch, the way that it sits on the wrist. I know it's slightly larger. Is it larger?
It's 40 millimeters.
40, but it's where
they also make a 38. So they make a 38, or sorry, 36, which is actually smaller, but all in the same dial colors, so they can wear kind of universally or unisex. Both men and women can wear it. If you have
I would say it's a very sophisticated piece.
So one that I actually really, really love is the skeleton. I don't think anybody really kind of plays in the genre of integrated bracelet sports watch skeleton as well as Parmigiani Fleurier. The Tonda skeleton is gorgeous. Even, for example, like if you look, the GP Laureato has a skeleton. I think also Bulgari has skeletons as well, but I don't think they're as nice. The only one I think that really competes with AP is the Tonda PF and skeleton. It's gorgeous, gorgeous watch.
Would you?
Oh yeah, I would, 100%.
But not overseas.
The only thing I dislike is why did you put a platinum bezel?
I know.
Because it jacks the price up so much and it makes it so much less durable, you know?
What would you want to see? Just a steel bezel?
Just a steel bezel, yeah. Steel bezel, lower price, you know, like all that kind of good stuff. But I think it's a sublime watch and just wears absolutely beautiful on wrist.
Great choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we discussed throughout the video a ton of different alternatives to Laureato, of course, the Bulgari Octo Finissimo, and all the different variations. Tudor Royal is a great one. Zenith Defy, is also good. I like the ceramic Zenith Defy. But I think these are kind of the 5 probably best alternatives to the Royal Oak and Nautilus. What would you say?
I would say I'm 100% agree with you. You mentioned a great models like Octo Finissimo, one of the, I would say, seen after watches as well. But in the category that you choose today, I think those pieces are perfect. And I would say we hit every single category as far as the price-wise. So
Yeah, I don't think anything was missed. But if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I'm going to leave Irina's Instagram down in the comments below if you want to reach out to her for any of the timepieces we talked about today or anything that we stock here at Bourdain's Jewelry. She'd be happy to help. Guys, thank you so much again for watching. My name is Marco from Bourdain's Jewelry, joined by Irina. We'll see you all in the next one.